RotoGrinders, 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Our apologies, just a couple minutes late. And the reason why, I'll tell you, you're going to feel better why we're late. A few minutes late. We're going to make it up for you because today, as chosen on Blender's show, the Blender show, 11 o'clock, I think it is, 11 o'clock in the morning. Every single Friday, Blender is going to be spinning his own little wheel, and he'll figure out what we're giving away, what we're going to show off to the people when it comes to premium. Today, the wheel came up with the fantasy pick'em tool for Prize Picks, Underdog, and the DraftKings Pick 6. It's very, very simple. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in chat for the people. What's up, chat? Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do everything to help us keep the lights on. And you can just sort based upon if you want to pick Prize Picks NBA, Underdog NBA, pick DK Pick 6 NBA, whatever your choice happens to be, your preference. You'll get the best win percentage up top. Currently, as of right now, as things stand, of course, stuff is fluid. Information is fluid. Our projections will change. But the number one pick right now is Cam Whitmore to get less than 17.5 points and rebounds. That would come in at a 65, almost 66% of the time. That will go under. So that is a good bet. Your edge is 5.3.8%. You can figure all this stuff out at your own leisure. If you happen to have RG Premium, you're aware of this stuff. You've used this tool before. But if you don't, by all means, you can use this today. And because it's Friday, you have a chance to win yourself a week free of RG Premium to use everything, all the bells, all the whistles, all the sports, all the tools, everything with the exception of NASCAR. How do you do that? You go to the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, go to the live stream chat channel, and just hit the avatar. The producer, Steve, has already dropped in there, and he will take your name and throw it up on the wheel. We're going to spin that wheel at 6 o'clock, depending on how many likes we get. We're going to give away 1 or possibly 2 individual weeks to RG Premium. All right, got that out of the way. Let the people know what the promos, all the free stuff, the bells, the whistles. 53 minutes away, we will spin that wheel. Let's bring in Bobby Gomes, new dad Bobby Gomes. Bobby, how are things in your world? I guess busy. I assume busy.
Very busy. Yeah, new dad as of last week. Enjoying it. 2 kids under 2. It's a lot, but we're getting through.
Kirkwood, I know you know about dad life as well. How is dad life? How are things in general? What's up, Kirky?
A lot worse than Bobby sounds. It's mayhem over here.
He's only have 1 though. He's got 2.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also salty today. I'm eating ramen all month because of the Celtics.
That's your fault for not seeing the writing on the wall with the C's early.
Yeah, I mean, bet with your head, not not with your heart. That's just how that works.
Wide open three to go up 1 with a minute and a half. Tatum just misses it.
He's so beta. He's so beta.
He's the biggest beta. And then Jalen went off.
You guys are the worst fans.
But he couldn't hit free throws. No, Tatum is a beta.
No, this is the best type of fan.
Tatum is not clutch. Tatum is just all the talent in the world. Nonsense. It's the truth. I know my team inside and out. That's the problem. Tatum is he's the only superstar in the league who doesn't even show up for 2 quarters sometimes. He's
a superstar in name only. In name only. He's not an auto.
He's a top 10 player in the league. Pretty
all the talent in the world, but he's a beta when it gets down to it. Jalen is an alpha, but Jalen can't hit free throws.
So what you're saying is you think the Celtics are going to lose to the Heat again for the 3rd time?
They're not going to lose to the Heat. They'll lose to Denver. They're not going to lose to the scrub Heat. And Jimmy's not going to be able to do it this year.
I'll tell you who they're going to lose to. They're going to lose to the Clippers, or they're going to lose to Denver.
You guys are so confident. You're bashing them. You're also they're so terrible. They're so terrible, and you both have them going to the NBA Finals. Is that's what I'm hearing?
Because the East is a cakewalk.
This is how we roll in Boston. We're used to winning.
Yeah, team.
Not anymore.
You know this.
Championship City.
It's been a while.
No, it has. Bruins have been there. There's a lot. The
They'll
Red
be bound
Sox
first round too.
When was the last World Series your Marlins won?
Well, they've been to the World Series twice and they won it twice. They've been 1997 and 2003, and they're no longer my Marlins. We've been broken up for many years now. Unfortunately, we don't write, we don't email, we don't text. But yeah, they've been there twice, and it's been 20 years. They also don't spend any money. If you want to talk baseball, it's a terrible pivot because your Red Sox are terrible.
Right now,
we should. Well, yeah. You want to talk about the Red Sox 12 years ago? What's the point of having that conversation?
Complete rebuild going on.
Boston's not supposed to rebuild.
Everybody has to rebuild. Everybody has to rebuild at some point.
J3 in chat says Dontrell Willis more clutch than Jason Tatum. There you go. Dontrell Willis, like he had a window where he was like the most fun player.
Kevin Willis is more clutch than Jason Tatum.
Who was?
Kevin Willis. Do you know where he is?
Former Atlanta Hawk and Miami Heat. Yeah.
He was on the he liked the supplements.
Jared in chat saying, what Discord channel for the free giveaway? Yeah, Jared, it is the live stream chat channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Most of the Discord channels are free. You just need a standard RG account. Doesn't need to be a paid account. Some are premium, but this one, of course, it'd be silly for us to give away free premium in a premium channel. It doesn't make any sense. This one happens to be free. I do want to shout out Derek. Let's shout out Derek in chat. He took me down. He took me down last night in a head-to-head contest. If you want to let me know in chats, I see you in chat right now. What do you want as far as your prize? Do you want a week free of RG Premium? My apologies for not contacting you today. Do you want a T-shirt, an RG T-shirt? Do you want an RG hat? Do you want RG socks? By all means, that is the contrarian take for sure. But let me know what you want. Congratulations to Derek. We're going to run that back next Thursday. I will take on somebody else, and all you got to do is beat me head-to-head. I will drop a tweet on Wednesday. Let me know why I should pick you. I'll pick you sometime on Thursday. We'll figure it out. All right. How
about this?
Yes.
I will play you for a head-to-head.
Okay. Are you gonna strip? If I beat you, you strip naked at Fenway?
And the loser has to streak. Has to streak opening day.
Nobody wins in this. There's no winners in this.
Oh, RG Chat wins. Are you kidding me?
No, they don't. Nobody wins. Society loses.
You go to Miami. You go to the Marlins opening day.
No, it's a terrible idea. It's not happening. I'm out. If Bobby wants to be like my,
there's no way. There's no way. I am not. I'm waiting for one of you guys to do it. So maybe I could slide into whatever salary you guys are getting from RG. I'll just take your role after the action.
I mean, this is not something. Yeah, I don't know why Kirkwood is so married to the idea of streaking at Fenway. But
I put myself on the line in my most vulnerable state, and I've won each one so far. So
I gotta say, what Kirkwood did is putting himself out there like that. It's pretty commendable, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Well, he never actually paid it off, so you don't really know what would have happened if he was. If
I lost, of course I'd pay. I'd pay my bets.
Maybe you'd wear like one of those like the
I would do the 3 socks. I would do the RotoGrinders socks. I said
RotoGrinders would not appreciate that. I mean, it's not an endorsement for RG, but yeah. All right, sprint slate tonight. I love a sprint slate. We got a sprint slate. 6 games, 2, 2, and 2. 2 games at 7, 2 games 7:30, 2 games 8 o'clock, 8:01. Party on! If you want to go streaking somewhere, by all means, you can do that. Theoretically, not endorsing that, but you can close the laptop if you want to.
Friday night streak. Little Friday night streak.
Hey, whatever you have going on in your life, Kirkwood. Your players are all locked by 8 o'clock. There's a late slate if you want to chase the late slate. Just 2 games are going down there, but we have a sprint one. Last Friday, of course, we were doing the no late swap. I guess DK did not go back to that. We'll see. I'm sure we'll know with plenty ahead. Notice if that's going to happen at some point going forward. Several body parts we're monitoring as far as the slate is Anthony Edwards' ankle, which is currently questionable, coming off just an absolutely ridiculous game yesterday. Nobody goes to the locker room twice and then comes back and becomes optimal, quite like Anthony Edwards. Just spectacular. And that walk-off block he had was absurd. Jalen Brunson's got that knee. He's missed several games. He's questionable as well. Wendell Carter Jr. is questionable with a knee. Trey Man's got a groin. He's questionable too. Maybe Mitchell would kind of get opened up to some degree. He's already in play, but we'll get a few minutes more in that Charlotte-Washington game. That one straight for DFSers will become even more appealing. Atlanta-Memphis, to me, is the most appealing game on the slate. That's the one I'm most excited about. We'll talk about that. And if there's some gross basketball, there's also some bad matchups too. 12 teams, right? You don't really want to pick on Miami. You don't really want to pick on Minnesota. You don't really want to pick on Orlando. New York's not a fun team, but this is what the slate gives us. I'm curious what you got, Kirkwood, as far as the overview. What are you monitoring before we dive in and do the old game by game? What's got your eye on this slate?
I don't know. It's 6 games. Most of these games are pretty gross, right? Most of them. I'm monitoring obviously the Anthony Edwards news. I mean, that's huge. Wendell Carter, and then really it's just Wendell Carter Jr., Trey Mann. Is there anything else that I'm missing here?
I mean, I just ran them down. Yeah, just basically kind of Wendell Carter Jr., Trey Mann, Edwards and Brunson. I don't know if you said Brunson or not.
Yeah, but everyone's already, the price on those guys doesn't really matter much.
Yeah. The New York stuff, even if he doesn't play, nobody.
And that's just a gross game. 204-point total there. 2 awful pace teams. So, not really excited about that game. I mean, you can get a bunch of minutes out of Deuce McBride, but not sure. You got to get points.
Bobby, your thoughts? What can you add as far as the main slate? Are you rocking is that a Lululemon sweatshirt? I see you talking about it in chat right now. Is that what you're wearing currently?
It is Lulu, Dean. Real men wear Lulu. It's been a thing for a while now. Yeah, for me, I like basically this pace-up game with Washington and Charlotte. Pretty much everyone's going to like that game. And then, looking at some of these Hawks with Young out versus Memphis. Nice little spot there. So those are the 2 games that I'm mainly targeting. Obviously, the Edwards news is important. I like Ant. We know what Ant can do, so don't mind him if he plays. I don't know. That's pretty much what I have. I like Shea, too, a little bit. I'm going to try to get some Shea in my lineups.
I have heard that the Lululemon is pretty comfortable, but I'm pretty loyal to Tommy John. Give Tommy John a gander. Give them a look.
You know what I rock?
What's that?
Sean John.
All right.
Come on.
Berkeley was like a G-unit tank top guy.
I wear FUBU. I got my FUBU selection.
So the top 5 players on this slate as far as ownership right now, it's Wizards and it's Hornets. But how vengeful is Davis Bertans? Is Davis Bertans vengeful? We shall see tonight. I guess Washington gave him a ton of money, so he shouldn't be too angry at them. And he's been a disaster ever since. But there's a chance. Looks like there's a chance that he could be a potential cheapie to help make stuff work. That's, again, what I'm seeing right now, ownership-wise. And it's kind of a cluster. Jordan Poole is really popular, which is kind of uncomfortable to me. Davis Bertans, Brandon Miller, Denny Avdia, Kispert, all those guys in that same game. It's going to be really, really popular. Cleveland is still really thin. The prices are adjusting somewhat, not fully. Atlanta is thin. They got thinner because there's no Johnson now. No Trae Young, no Johnson. We're giving 48 minutes now to Capella and Bruno Fernando. I don't know if there's going to be any overlap there or not, but I bet to check to see if those guys have ever played together. I feel like they haven't, but I also don't think we've had this situation before. Atlanta, in an interesting matchup there against Memphis. Another game that's kind of a disaster, but also a game that appeals to DFS players. And the other side, Triple J. We saw why. We still like him. He still pops in optimals. You saw that kind of game last time out where he can put up, every single category basically. Just peppering the box score, and he can actually get there from blocks as well. If he can just stay out of foul trouble, which I think he might have actually gotten foul trouble that game too. He had 4 fouls. He still sort of finds a way every once in a while. And the matchup there versus Atlanta is premium too. So that's currently where I'm at. Like Triple J and a couple Hawks might be my main lineup sort of shell build, but we'll see. I'm open to changes. Taking a peek as far as what's going on Twitter when it comes to news. We don't really have anything coming in. We should get the Minnesota stuff. Is that 7:30? Yeah, it's 7:30. So I assume we get Edwards before 7 o'clock. If we don't get it, Crunch Time's going to get it. But I suppose we should now dive in and do the old game by game. Oh, you know what? I had a poll question for today for the people, and feel free to give your thoughts. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, are we in on this? Are we watching this nonsense? It's a charade, right? It's nonsense. But if you have the Netflix, I guess you're going to watch it. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't pay for it, but I got the Netflix. I guess I'm in on the circus. Are we watching this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fiasco, Bobby? Do we care? Are we, is this something you're going to be
I'm more interested in the Ryan Garcia fiasco, to be perfectly honest.
Who?
I just bet on a boxing fight that goes off right now, actually.
The Ryan Garcia fiasco? You haven't.
I don't know anything. Should I know who Ryan Garcia is?
Yeah, he's like.
Is that another YouTuber or something?
I guess he's kind of an influencer.
You don't know Ryan Garcia?
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't really follow like quote unquote influencers. I don't go out of my way to do it. Indirectly.
No, he's a boxer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like currently losing his mind.
But he's exposing all the truths in Hollywood.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Dean's a big conspiracy theorist, so I would imagine that he would be into the Ryan Garcia stuff.
The last boxing fight I saw, I think, was a Creed. I watched all 3 Creed movies. I think that's the last of the boxing stuff I've seen. But yeah, dying sport, kind of a dying sport, right? It's as lowest it's ever been in the last 80 to 100 years. Who's the heavyweight champion in the world in boxing? You used to know this. It's what?
It's been making a resurgence.
Is it? Okay. There's no DFS boxing. Let's tell you something. No.
Tim makes a good point in chat. He says Dean will not be paying for any of these fights, which is,
of course. And
Dean's computer.
He killed him the other day to $75.
He won't figure out how to stream them illegally because his computer will crash. Like,
I don't want. Well, why would I risk reward? I don't need that nonsense. Is Tyson Fury? Is he still fighting? I don't even know. Like, what is he still heavyweight champion?
He did lose. He fought Francis Ngannou from the UFC.
He got they cheated in the cards,
exhibition.
Right?
Yeah, they cheated Ngannou. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's kind of a dying sport. But if you like it, by all means, enjoy it. Have a good time with it. I'm not besmirching.
If you guys want a winner right now, it goes off very soon. It's a boxing fight. It's Joseph Parker. You can find him for like plus 180 right now.
Where's he fighting? In Europe or something? What time? When is that fight going off?
Dean, I don't know. It's all semantics to me. I don't.
Well, he's not fighting like in Charlotte. He's not fighting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He's got to be fighting somewhere like in London or something, right?
I don't know. I don't care.
I think your take takes a little bit of a hit of a credibility stance when you don't know where.
It's not my. It's a winner. It's from somebody who wins in boxing who gave it to me.
Okay, the guy behind the guy. I got you. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows. Okay, fair enough. But I'm still coming at you if it's a loser. I don't know.
Sure, I can take it. I said this last. See, there was an issue. People were upset about people were tilting in RG Discord last night. Jalen Wilson.
You don't say.
And people were getting on the person for tilting. But in my view, I'm like, where else are you? If you can't tilt in the RG Discord, where are you supposed to tilt? And also part of the value of being a tout, like of buying a service or like any of these things with picks and whatnot.
The sounding board.
It's be able to remove you blame. It's so you can blame them when you lose. It helps you sleep at night.
I just push the blame off to Dean.
Yes. Yeah, I won, they lost.
I love tilt. I love tilt. Tilt is funny to me.
Any picks on the show, if they go wrong, Dean was the one who influenced all of them.
I mushed it for sure. Let's talk about the first game. First game on the slate. We got plenty of time, obviously. That's why we're taking our time. It's a 6-gamer. We're pacing ourselves. 2 games at 7, 2 games 7:30, 2 games 8 o'clock. Very first game at 7 o'clock we're talking about. It's New Orleans. It's Philadelphia. 221 is the total. One of the bigger totals on the board. It seems like New Orleans is a 7-point favorite in Philly tonight. Philly, they've been pretty thin of late. No Maxey, still dealing with that concussion. Embiid obviously out for a long time. No Covington, no DeAnthony Melton, and there's a chance that Batum, he's got a foot. He's questionable. There's a chance he doesn't play. As far as New Orleans, they have been super healthy. Nobody of note injured outside of Dyson Daniels, who's a fringe guy in the rotation at best. As far as back-to-back stuff, neither one of these teams in the front half, neither one of these teams in the back half, so both teams are on an island game. I'll throw it to you, Bobby. New Orleans and Philly. Philly, a good matchup these days to pick on. It's just New Orleans, they don't really have to push their minutes if they don't have to. Again, they have a pretty deep rotation, unpredictable at the center spot as well with the Valanciunas stuff and the Nance stuff. But, good matchup on paper. It's just kind of tricky to figure out who's really going to do it for them, if anybody. Your thoughts as far as Philly and New Orleans? Feel free to start wherever you want to start here, Bobby.
Yeah, Pelicans full squad. For me, it would mainly be Zion Williamson, and then I like TJ McCollum's price tag at 6'8". I think they're fine. They're not guys that I'm going to overly prioritize, but they'll be in my player pool. On the Philly side, like there's really nothing for me except like with the situation with Batum. Batum played 32 minutes off the bench last game, and now he's questionable. Was he ruled in, or do we have?
He's questionable unless something just got updated in the last minute or so, and he genuinely matters because like he comes off the bench typically, but he also closes a lot too. So, and it's sort of tricky to figure out who's going to the last couple pieces that are going to close for Philly, and if he doesn't, it opens the door at least for an Oubre to close, depending on. But yeah, well, I think we have an if then for Batum. I'm pulling it up now, but feel free to continue.
Yeah, from there on, Paul Reed was starting after Mo Bamba had started previously. Paul Reed back in the starting lineup. Reed fouled out. It's typical Paul Reed, I feel like, at this point. Yeah, there's nothing on the Philly side that I really like. From this game, it's mainly CJ at that tag at 6'8", and then Zion. That's all I really have. There's no one that I'm interested in. Like, you could take your shots on some of these Philly cheapies, I guess, with Lowry playing 36 minutes last game. But yeah, no real interest.
The one getting a ton of ownership here in this game is Zion, 8-1 on DK. Still probably a tick too cheap, and the matchup's really good against Philadelphia. The absence of Embiid has really sucked the defense out of them. 29% for Zion currently. Oubre, at 13%. McCollum at 13%. Joe Val at 10%. We're only giving him 24 minutes, which is tricky, right? Because, yeah, this is a game where he might be too big for, but I also like he should be able to do whatever he wants to read. But it's like who blinks first, possibly. It feels like a game where we might see Joe Val start, but Nance start the second half. The other part of it is Bamba's kind of fallen out of favor here with Philly. They didn't want to play him the other night because several players fouled out. I think it was Martin that fouled out and Reed fouled out. And all right, screw it. I guess we got to bring Bamba back to close. We're only giving him 8 minutes. Again, he's fallen out of favor a little bit. He would probably be asked to do more if Embiid's playing, but of course he's not playing, so he's a little bit less necessary. Jump in here, Kirkwood. Philadelphia, New Orleans.
Yeah, he's out of favor, just since last game, but he was in favor over Paul Reed, before that, the last game. So they've just been, Bamba's been stinking it up though. Paul Reed played really well in that last game. I actually don't really mind him at he's a super low owned. He's going to be unowned tonight. I don't mind that, but I think that obviously Zion is probably the best play, but I'm not crazy about an 8,100 Zion. I'm more like I think Kyle Lowry's fine, just 30. He's been playing 35 minutes. I don't think there's that much of a ceiling with him anymore, but 35 minutes is nice. I think Kelly Oubre is the guy who's been playing well and has stepped up. 36, 34 minutes in the 2 last games, 44, 36 fantasy points. Fits this kind of game environment pretty well. But again, this is not the game I really want to have much exposure to. And I guess if you don't like Oubre, then Tobias. But I think a lot of people are done with Tobias. And after his,
he's also priced up a little bit more too. So he's not really a value anymore.
He's actually lost 100 from his last.
Rightfully so. I think rightfully so that's the case. Don Yeezy says, "Why is Dean so mean to Kirk? Am I mean to you, Kirkwood?"
It's crazy, Dean. I noticed. I bit my lip on this. I bit my lip. I was thinking about going to Meansy behind the scenes and being like, "Hey, what's up? Why is Dean so mean to me?"
Happens?
But I decided not to. I decided to give you another.
I always try to be kind. Am I not?
I was going to go to Meansy for you, Kirky.
Yeah, I know. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I will. You know what? I will strive to be better, Kirkwood. I will be as kind as possible going forward.
Thank you. Yeah. Shout out to Don Yeezy. He's a board member of the Juggalo Nation.
Dean is very passive aggressive.
And I just want to say we initiated a new member recently to Jug Nation. Eric. Lip. Eric Johnson now he's we're going to be watching him closely because he's burnt some people in the past, but he's part of Juggalo Nation right now.
You guys are open to second and third chances.
Yes, we're very we're very welcoming. We like to give people second chances in life.
Currently, our poll question: are you watching Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? Yes, 47%. No, 53%. Yeah, I would. So I should. People wouldn't pay for this though. They're watching it because it's free. Should have asked that part of it too. But yeah, my apologies, Steve. I did not give the specifics. But I think the only reason why I click yes is because it's free and whatever. I got the next Netflix, so why not? I'll watch the circus. But our if Batum sits, still nobody really jumping off the page. Although Lowry looks really good on FanDuel. He's a better play on FanDuel as far as value wise. Certainly you can play him on DK as well. Oubre would be the one positive value, but I think he's basically that's essentially his projection anyways, I believe. I'm pulling it up, trying to see how much it would change. Yeah, currently our projection is almost 32 DK points, and it would give about 34.5. So it gets a little bit of a bump, an extra, let's see, a little bit more, just a little bit more, I suppose. An extra few minutes stability there as far as Oubre. But I think amongst the six, we do agree this is not the most appealing game on the board. How about the next game at 7 o'clock? Oh, this one looks pretty juicy. Charlotte versus Washington, 226.5 is a total. It's pretty high. It's definitely tight. Washington, 2.5 point favorite here. Hornets at the Wiz. As far as who's in and who's out, Washington missing some key pieces. Landry Shamet, doesn't really matter so much individually, but clears the backcourt just a little bit. And their starting center, Marvin Bagley's not going to go. He's got that back, so we're assuming Kuzma's going to start at the 5, jumping up. And then Charlotte, again, the LaMelo stuff is completely insane. He's been questionable, doubtful for a month now. Probably not going to play the rest of the year. They'll never tell us that until maybe game 82. Mark Williams out, Cody Martin out, Seth Curry out. Trey Mann, though. Trey Mann's got that groin. And, we started to see him and Mitchich weren't playing a ton together due to the injury to Martin. Mitch has jumped in the starting lineup. Now we might have Mitchich as the last man standing, possibly. Looks like there's still plenty of bodies, I guess, right? They would have 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they would have 10 if they lost Mann. Grant Williams, Bertans, McGowan, Storr.
Mann is out.
Oh, did that just happen? That just hit, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mitchich, I think, is going. Well, we have our if-then stuff, and it's going to tighten up. I think it's going to tighten up as far as the rotation. And let's see, our projection team will probably edit that in a second. But I know we had an if-then. Yeah, so we had 39 minutes for Miles Bridges, 36 for Miller, 33 for Mitchich. I think looks really, really strong. It's the old perfect storm of players being out, the minutes bump, and the matchup versus Washington, all pretty beautiful. And then. I'm not sure if we're probably going to have McGowan start, and we're giving him 25 minutes. But Grant Williams getting 30 minutes. He's another guy that I think gets a nice little bump. Hornets. Hornets look good here, right, Kirkwood? I asked you in the kindest possible way if you can please give us some analysis when it comes to the Hornets and the Wizards.
Yeah, what do they really have for guards now? It's just at least for like someone who could run the point.
Nick Smith.
Yeah, maybe.
He's got to get some run. You're not playing him, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I think he'd play Micic, and he's going to be chalk, but you eat the chalk. It's Washington. And they just don't have – he should see massive minutes. This game's – the Hornets haven't been the best matchup as of late. It's a much different team. They're dropped down all the way to 20 in pace now because they're playing so much slower. And but I still like some of these Washington games, and based on the games that we have, I do still like this game. I'm not scared of Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's been lighting it up off the once he got his bench roll. He's shooting with confidence. He's gonna chuck. It's fine matchup for him. So I'm cool with Jordan Poole. I know like people, if you see Jordan Poole and you see 30% ownership, it's scary, but I think he's gonna go off tonight again. But Kuz, my favorite. Kispert gets a bump tonight. Other than that, on the Charlotte side, Brandon. It's about time to get some more Brandon Miller. Big games he went off against Toronto. It's kind of a little bit rough, but after and before that. But he's probably the guy that I could see going off, him or Bridges. Other than that,
who's your preference amongst those two?
It's you got to pay the 8,400 for Bridges. I mean, Bridges. I think it's Miller against Washington. Could just take the savings.
I don't have like a clear-cut lean, but I'm open to both.
Fine.
Like whichever fits,
yeah, I'm fine with either of them. I'm fine with either of them.
Yeah, this game is pretty juicy for sure. Jump in here, Bobby. You as excited about Charlotte, Washington, as it sounds like both myself and Kirkwood are?
Yeah, I'm excited about Charlotte, Washington. This is one of the games that I'm going to be having heavy exposure to. I like Kuz. Like, obviously, this game could go small, but I still think Kuzma is very interesting. 40-plus fantasy points in the past 6 games. There's obviously a ton of players that are viable. Jordan Poole is the guy who's going to be getting the most ownership. He's coming off the bench. As a starter, he was averaging 14 shots per game. Now he's averaging 19 off the bench. That's courtesy of Squirrel Patrol and his expert survey write-up earlier. But I do think he's a good play and he will chuck. I also think that Tyus Jones is someone who could negatively correlate with him, even though, like, if Tyus is playing good, it could hurt Poole. But that being said, Poole playing good probably hurts Tyus. I think Tyus is an interesting pivot in tournaments. Miles Bridges on the Charlotte side is a guy I'm going to be trying to get to a ton. Just playing at upper 30s minutes consistently. Really like him. Wizards obviously playing, 107 possessions a game, almost fastest pace in the league. I know it's I think that Bridges is a really good play, and they obviously aren't guarding anyone, so definitely like Bridges on the Charlotte side. I think Grant Williams is going to see a bunch of minutes off the bench, so he's someone I would consider. That could hurt Kuzma's ceiling a little bit, but if they do go small, I still like Kuzma. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I think Bertans is in play. There's if Trey Mann were to miss, he bumps up a little bit more. The Hornets are running super tight rotations. All these guys are seeing 35 plus minutes. Bridges, Mann, well, not all of them seeing 35 plus minutes, but specifically Bridges and Mann. You take Mann out, those minutes have to go somewhere. I would imagine Grant and Bertans would be guys off the bench who would benefit from that. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much what I have for this game.
Last 15 games, Washington, the fastest team in basketball. Charlotte has been playing slower, they're around 20 or so as far as their pace.
Oh, man got ruled out prior to us having this conversation. Correct, my fault. Yeah.
But Kuzma is going to play a small ball 5, so I think there's a pretty good chance he draws a start. Backing him up will be like some Rashawn Holmes or something like that. And yeah, I could see Kuzma lining up against Grant Williams as a small ball 5. Maybe Davis Bertans can play the role of the 5 to some extent for Charlotte as well. Not a lot of height. This game kind of has to go small. There's no choice for it to go small because there are no bigs, right? I mean, Richards might be the biggest guy for Charlotte. JT Thor is a big dude, but they don't give him much run anyway. I don't know how tall Marquez Bolden is. I don't know if I can pick him out of a lineup. LeBron is out, Eric. Thank you. Yeah, I did see that. If you're playing the late slate, LeBron is actually out. I think it's the back half of the ESPN doubleheader, so ESPN cannot be thrilled. He was limping last game. He legitimately got hurt last game, limping to the locker room last few minutes. So, yeah, LeBron against Milwaukee. I was trying to get Milwaukee quickly on the sports book, and I was not fast enough, unfortunately. The most players will play here, Kirkwood, on each side when it comes to – because there's several games. And by the way, also Suggs rolled out tonight. He's got a thigh, so he cannot play basketball tonight in the Garden. But Wendell Carter Jr. in his knee, good to go. He is available against New York. No news just yet as far as Brunson. We're almost definitely going to get the game time nonsense, and we'll get an update probably around 6:37 maybe. But yeah, how much are we willing to play in this game here, Kirkwood? Because there's a lot of players that are playable, and there's a lot of players that are cheap. So
a lot. I'm willing to play a lot. I think 2 and 2.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, will you play 3? I think you can play 3. I don't know if you have to play 3. Will you consider playing 3?
I would.
I think you can play 3.
Yeah, it's just price dependent. I think that's fine, but I think optimal for me, I think 2 and 2, because I think you play Micic and Miller together, and you just soak up a lot of points. I think against Washington.
We're getting updates now on the projections. I'm running. TJ in chat says, I don't know if he's joking. He says, I'm fine with 4-4. That's not. They wouldn't accept that, right? You have to have a player for another game, so you can't make that work. TJ also had a 2v2, Bridges and Vince Williams versus Miller and Triple J. I think it's Miller and Triple J personally amongst that 2v2. I don't know if you have a thought on that, Kirkwood. Vince Williams.
Definitely. I'm definitely. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is so much better than Vince, but Vince does have some big games or whatnot. But like, I'm a Triple J guy, so I'll just go with that. Against Atlanta, he should do well in this one.
So this is not going to sneak up on anybody. By the way, you know, the idea of this being a game stack, our new projections, our new updates. I ran some optimals. I always say, like, I had a little bit of juice, I had a little bit of variance, but the number one optimal for me might be a little bit different than what you guys have here in the old lineup HQ. It's got 3 Wiz and 1 Hornets. Number 2 has 4 Hornets and 3 Wizards. So, yeah, you're going to be getting a lot of Wizards and a lot of Hornets. News can still trickle in and change things a little bit, of course.
Who are the Hornets?
Avdia, Kispert, and Poole.
No, the Hornets.
Oh, the Hornets. I'm sorry. Mitchich, Miller, Revenge, and Bridges. I didn't want to give the full lineup, but you know what I'm talking about.
Give the whole lineup.
Bertans. There's one more player, so you know you can figure it out with the salary left over.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk Grant Williams.
By the way, I don't like this. We'll talk Grant Williams in a second, but I do not like what I'm seeing. Bryce McGowan's is hitting some lineups, which that to me,
yeah, because they don't. I
don't want that.
Guard, so he'll probably play some backup point. How many minutes is he getting now?
Probably 25. How cheap is he? He's 25 minutes at 3. Oh, he's 3.1K, and he's getting an 18-point projection. He's horrendous as far as usage. His usage on the season 14% at 0.63 fantasy points per minute. Minutes equal money, not all minutes are created equal. Of course, his minutes are created poorly, but if you're getting that many minutes for that few dollars, I guess McGowan's is in your pool. And he's facing Washington. I hate that if it's going to be popular. You got a thought in this, Bobby? Bryce McGowan's, he's probably going to start. He probably doesn't close.
I do. So he's 3-1. He's 3-1. He's 3-1. Like, my favorite play now, and I think he's going to be everyone's favorite play, is Mitchich. I would definitely prefer Mitchich and Grant over McGowan's. But I think Mitchich is the easiest one to get away from. He's going to be the guy he's going to hit optimals ahead of Grant Williams, but I prefer Grant Williams.
Currently, our projection is Mitchich, 33 minutes, 31 fantasy points. Williams, 30 minutes, 27 and change. These are median projections, obviously. Different positions, but they're essentially the same price. True North in chat is saying, what about the minutes bump for Smith? We are giving Smith 14 minutes. So, if you're running 150, I don't think it's the worst idea to put him in your pool. Like, there's a chance he gets hot and, puts up 24 fantasy points at 3K, and plays 17 minutes. Like, that's certainly possible. I would also say Charlotte's more appealing than Washington in this game. Washington has more options. If you look at the RG lineup page, you have 10 players available for Charlotte. Washington has 15 dudes. They're not going to play 15 dudes, but they have more, if this game gets squirrely, no matter what, Charlotte's going to, it's pretty clear where they're going to be picking players from, who the final 5 in the court. McGowan's is probably one of those guys, and again, it's not supposed to blow out, but you never know. But McGowan's is probably one of those guys that if this game blows out, he starts and closes because they need a 5th person. Mitchis is going to be really, really popular. But this game is really good. It's good from a DF. I think it makes sense. Jones, I like. Kispert's fine. Kuzma should smash. You got to actually spend for him. The other thing is here, Bobby, is just how cheap everybody is in this game. Outside of, Miller and Bridges and Kuzma, everybody's pretty cheap. You can get yourself a cheap game stack and get an extra star or two, depending on the rest of the slate.
Yeah, I know you can do that. It's just a matter of do you trust McGowan's at 3-1 like that? I don't love McGowan's. I want to try to get. I have the same thought process that you have. If he's going to be hitting off, I'm going to be under the field on McGowan's for sure. But the other guys, I feel like they're fine.
Yeah.
Well, I wish they would give Nick Smith more minutes. I mean, he can he's a shooter.
Why wouldn't they? Like it really doesn't make any. Just try to look to the future a little bit and give him some run, and maybe they will. But they just traded for Mitchell. I guess they want to see what they have in him. The whole thing is kind of odd. Is there a lawnmower going off in the background for somebody, or am I just hearing things? So I have a different page. It sounds like it's cleared up. Anyways, a lot going on as far as that game. We'll circle back if need be, but otherwise, Kirkwood, Bobby, moving forward, yes.
Yeah, I'm warming. I'm starting to like Bridges more and more. I could see him playing 40 minutes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're projecting, I think 39, right? So that's 40. That's a median projection. It's a DFS players type game, not an NBA fan type game. We should move on. Minnesota, Cleveland, two defensive-minded teams. The 206 total speaks to that. And obviously, we're without some stars in this game too, potentially some more stars than we already been aware of, because no Cat's out with that knee for a while, and Max Strus is out for Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell's out for Cleveland, as is Evan Mobley. So 3 of their key starters are not playing basketball this evening. Prices have adjusted somewhat. And we also have Ant Edwards is questionable in the back half of a back-to-back and travel. He looked like he was done for the game last night several times, going to the locker room with his ankle, and he came back to have the game of his life, which was just spectacular versus Indiana. He was so awesome last night. Okay, so we're kind of in the dark here as far as Edwards, some on-off stuff, or not on-off stuff, but if-then stuff. But as of right now, Bobby, for Cleveland, Minnesota, what is your perspective here?
Yeah, so for me, it's interesting because Kyle Anderson basically versus Indiana the other night was chalk and busted. And he's up to 5-2, and people are gonna. I kind of have some interest on the Wolves side, and I think if Edwards was out, it would bump him a little bit. Like Edwards, if he plays, like Gobert, 7-7. Gobert went off the other night. Like him a good bit. With all the injuries with Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell out, and Mobley, Strus. I like Jared Allen at 7-9 a good bit. LeVert at 6-1 is going to be hitting optimals. Although I have, at this point in his career, I know Kirkwood loved LeVert early on. I'm kind of with Kirkwood now. I don't. It's a love-hate relationship between me and Karis LeVert. Georges Niang went off the other night. I think he's in play. Dean
That's
Wade
your boy,
also.
Isn't it?
Niang's my boy. Yep. He's a good friend of a friend. I've hung out with him a couple of times. Good guy. Dean Wade at 3-8. I think he's fine. And Darius Garland at 7-6. With Mitchell out, I think he gets a bump a little bit. What is going on?
Don't you guys hear the same like street sounds? I think you guys are close enough to you both hear it. You guys aren't getting the same street sounds? I thought you were like basically neighbors.
He's near the airport.
Yeah, it could be anything.
He moved away from you, right? You were too much of a nuisance as a neighbor. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he would always like knocking on the door. Like I'd look in the peephole and be like, "Shh." Yeah.
He just wants to borrow sugar late at like 3:00 in the morning for no particular reason. Oh, Brunson is on track to play according to Tibbs. Okay, we got the news there. Brunson Burner on track. The old on track. It seems like he's going to play tonight. Okay, we haven't projected in. He's missed several games with that knee. Not a great matchup. We'll talk about it in a second. The game against Orlando. Jump in here, Kirkwood. What do you chime in as far as Minnesota and Cleveland?
Love Jared Allen. If Edwards plays, I love Edwards. Garland, I like. LeVert, I think is fine. Okoro, I still think Okoro's. I think there's a lot to like in this game. So I like too many of these guys, but. If you're gonna, I'm out on Slow-Mo. He'll probably should get a ton of minutes, but like I would rather just pivot to try to find a way to get Naz Reid. That Naz is my boy. He produces. He just does everything once he steps on the court. And so if he can get a minutes bump, with Cat out obviously, and if Edwards is out too, like I think you'll see more of him. It'll come his way, but. Yeah, that's about it.
The minutes are a little bit fickle with him, right? You never really know when they're going to come, when they're going to go. And he's also like, dependent upon. Like he's very fluid. If he's playing great, and like a lot of players are like that, but more so than most. if he's doing all the things he can do, he's going to stick around. But they'll also kick him to the bench pretty quickly as well. Let's see. If we have Edwards out, we're projecting TJ Warren to play 18 minutes. Get excited about that. Kyle Anderson would once again become a value play. I know he busted last night, but his projection would be 33 DK, 33 FanDuel, and it'd be the same situation as last night with now Edwards, who's a usage monster, obviously being out of there. Gobert would also look pretty good. The two good defensive-minded centers in this game with Allen and Gobert going at it. Conley, Na is still kind of priced up from when situations before, so it's not like he's like 3K, but he would have 25 fantasy points will be his projection, his median projection. So in the pool, and Na's around 29 or so if we happen to lose Edwards. And I'm guessing, we should get that information at some point, if not us. Crunch Time will get it. Who is on Crunch Time today? Well, it's TJ, it's Taylor, and it's Will, which I think they're running it back from yesterday. I think that was the threesome from yesterday. Favorite play on the Minnesota side, it's Nas for you, Kirkwood. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I like him. He's not my favorite. My favorite, if he plays, is Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
I'm fine fading slow-mo, even if Edwards is out tonight. I think playing him is fine too, but I don't know.
I can't wait to see the tweets. 5-2 slow-mo goes off, and 4-5 slow-mo versus the Pacers bus the other night.
Well, if Edwards is out, it's even a better chance. He also he was dealing with some kind of injury not too long ago. Maybe there's some
exactly. He's been playing through injury too.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's not on the injury report, but I don't think he's 100%. He's a tough roster, but if Edwards is out, he'll still look pretty good math wise, and it'll be.
What about McDaniels at 4-5?
Yeah, it's fine, right? Well, I'm trying to see what his minutes would be. We would give him 32 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Nas got a bigger ceiling, obviously. McDaniel's just sort of like a 3-and-D guy that's not going to take a ton of shots. Good wing defender. One of the best in the league, actually. I'm trying to think who would he be asked to guard. I guess Garland, which is not great for Garland, right? And we haven't really mentioned him. I know Levert was mentioned there in passing. This game overall, though, is just if Edwards is playing, I don't love it. There's pieces here and there, but it's just should be a heavily defensive game. That's 6-game slate, sure. If you want to get pieces, I don't know if I'm making enough lineups to really stress on anybody. I'm fine with Gobert. I'm fine with Allen. They're both getting a little bit of bumps because of the 1 and 1A. Cat being out and Mobley being out, so there's more of a ceiling there. But I don't love this game. Give me the final word, Bobby, as far as Minnesota and Cleveland.
Yeah, I like Anthony Edwards if he plays. Jared Allen on the other side would probably be my favorite play in the game otherwise. That's how I'll approach it.
You know what? I am going to announce my feel it in my plums play early.
Oh, okay. What are you feeling?
Nasty Nas Reed tonight.
Even before, why is he nasty? Well, even before the Edwards news?
Even before. Either way.
All right. Yeah, Jared's still asking in chat if you still play on Yahoo. Yeah, you're still Kid Yahoo. I guess I did not introduce you as Kid
Jared
Yahoo.
Just doxed where Kirk plays. He was yelling at me for dox. I didn't know what doxing was. I was born a little bit prior to the streaming. Yeah. I just realized that in chat.
I'm there. I'm getting sick of it though. I'm getting sick of all these people just playing optimal and having the same.
Well, take advantage of that. You just do like a 2v2 off it, and you lose. Like
I know. Trust me. I understand what to do.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I would love it if everybody else was playing the same lineup.
It's not beautiful. It makes all the fish really upset, and they're like they don't want to play anymore, and so then it's just a bunch of people with the same lineup, and you either got it. So it's like it's better to obviously do. Well, there's some merit to like less risk if you have the same lineup.
Do you have anyone you'd like to complain about, Kirkwood?
No, there's just a bunch.
He's never answered that. He's never said no to that question. He always says one in the chamber. Well, me. You complain about me.
I know it's on the tip of his tongue. I know it's on the tip of his tongue.
By the way, Bobby, I didn't realize you're on performance enhancers. You got a Red Bull on you today? Is this what's
coconut Red Bull? The best one. Yeah.
Coconut? Really? Is that the most popular flavor? Or that's your?
It's a good one.
Contrarian take.
It's a good one.
Coconut Red Bull? What?
Yeah, Bobby, the one in the white can.
Bobby likes the white.
That one is so good. He's right. That one's really good.
No, I don't. Don't listen to Kirkwood. He's
white. Yeah. The white teeth I'm talking about.
Oh.
I just pulled up the power rankings according to the internet. I'm curious where coconut. To me, it sounds like a contrarian take, but I don't know. I've never had the coconut.
You know me, Dean. I'm contrarian.
Dean, are you a big coconut? Bobby, are you a coconut water guy?
If I'm hungover.
Yeah.
According to mashed.com, which is the Bible on Red Bull flavors, the number one Red Bull flavor is watermelon. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Coconut berry, number 2. Is that what you're drinking? Coconut berry?
Yeah, coconut berry. It's a good one.
A little bit of berries there too. Strawberry apricot, number 3. I didn't realize they had such a wide array of flavors.
Either.
All right. If I'm going to dabble in I'm going to have a monster, and then that's what I'm going to go with the silver monster. Anyways, we shall move on. Do we have one more game in us before we do the drawing, Steve? Which we do? Should we do the drawing or should we do one more game? Orlando and New York. What do you want us to do?
Let's just do the drawing. We weren't supposed to have a drawing today, Dean.
Did we chase Butthole
this
out?
is my fault. I don't know if we chased him out.
You gave him for Fridays for everyone, but since you said it, we got to do a drawing today.
I apologize. I gave you more work too. My bad. I apologize, Steve. That's on me. Yeah. So we give it out. Do we have enough likes? One or two? I mean, how many weeks are we going to give away? How many individual weeks? Because we have to get those likes up to give out the premium. Hit that like button.
We're gonna do 2 because it's Friday.
My earbud just died. I don't know if I sound funky now or not.
And I think we got everyone in there now. All right,
let's give it a spin.
Ready? Yep, here we go.
Dean, are you gonna dance, Dean? What are you doing?
Looks like our J3.
Oh,
J3. Shout out to J3.
Shout out to
Rigged.
Yeah, we like J3.
We
like J3.
AKA, what is his name in here?
It's
we want Dean. We want Dean.
It's definitely not rigged. 100% not rigged.
His name is J3.
We're gonna remove him. Shuffle it.
Also, a board member in Juggalo Nation. Shout out to Juggalo Nation.
Someone's gonna make a meme of this.
And Flo, Mario Donyeezy.
Jug Nation, stand up.
Wow.
2 out of 2. Let's go.
Two big supporters of the show win today.
It's definitely rigged. This is such a rigged game.
If you're gonna rig it, just do it one time. Then you make it super obvious.
I didn't rig it. I shuffled all the names up.
Unbelievable. Congratulations to the winners. Producer Steve, producer Devin will hook you up with a week free. By the way, I'm not sure if you saw the message there, Steve. We can get Derek juiced up as well for a week free for taking me down in the head-to-head contest. Congratulations to all the winners. We did get Nick Batum is ruled out for Philly.
Derek took you down?
Yeah.
Jug Nation, stand up, Jug Nation. Let's go.
Batum is out, so we'll get a little bit of an update there as far as projections. I think we did get an update when it comes to Orlando with Suggs being out, Suggs in New York. We're also expecting Brunson to be good to go. Again, not the greatest game environment. Orlando at New York. This is kind of a snooze fest, but it's only 6 games. We work with what we got. 204 is the total. It's not high. It is tight. Orlando is a 2-point favorite here. As far as who's in and who's out, where Orlando is fully healthy with the exception of Suggs, who's got a thigh, so he's not playing. New York, nothing new with OG. He's out. Randall's out. Mitch Rob out, but Brunson expected to give it a go. Kirkwood, do we like anything here, Orlando, New York? I mean, I don't really see any priorities. Has anything changed with Orlando with Suggs being out? I'm giving him a refresh now. What do you got?
I'm seeing nothing here in this game. It's just a gross game, right? Like the low total, super slow pace. Two good defensive teams. You could make a case to target someone on the mat, target the Magic who give up a lot of threes, but I guess so Brunson is in, right? Correct?
On track to play.
Yeah, maybe he's in play for a stud, I would say. He's going to be lower owned than he has been in the past, but I guess I'd make a case if I really wanted to play someone like Paulo Banchero, you could play Brunson, you could play, but I don't really like anybody. I don't think the Suggs news really moves the needle at all either. They just have too many, they have Cole Anthony, they have Anthony Black, they have enough players that Suggs isn't that really important. So yeah, this game's kind of a snoozer to me.
So Bamba is starting over Reed today, which is, again, that could be fool's gold. We've seen several times where he starts and sort of disappears, and Reed plays like the starter's minutes. But that's of note. We did not get the full Philadelphia lineup, but we got the note that Bamba is expected to start. And maybe that's in part because they got Joval on the other side, who's a big boy. But again, I can see this ending up being like Nance and Reed doing a fair bit of battling. Just kind of throwing it out there. Bobby, your thoughts when it comes to Orlando and New York?
Yeah, there's not much here. I do think Fultz at 3-6 is one of the guys that could be interesting in larger field stuff. Banchero, like Kirkwood said, Brunson, but outside of that, there's nothing I really want to play. Miles McBride might get minutes, but I don't love Miles McBride. He's like Bryce McGowan. So yeah, I don't know, not much in this game for me. Reed's minutes ticks up, but he's going to be volatile. I would imagine he always is. So definitely prefer other spots.
Fultz is 3-6 on DK. 20 minutes we're giving him. He's been dealing with managing, I think it's a knee. Like, they haven't been playing him a ton, but I guess that's of note. But like Kirkwood said, they still have plenty of guys, right? They still have Cole Anthony. Black can play some wing. Gary Harris.
They'll play Ingles, Jingles, Gary Harris.
It is of note. I think it's at least interesting, 3-6 Fultz, which I don't know if we've ever seen him that cheap before. But even still, I'm probably not getting there as far as how this slate looks. We should move on, though. 2 more games. Crunch time coming in, 10, 15 minutes or so. You got Will, you got TJ, you got Taylor. The Hawks at Memphis. It's 215 as a total, and this is like about as exciting as a 215 game can look, at least for me. I'm kind of interested in this game. It's fallen back a little bit with the news coming in, trickling on through as far as some of the other games, but I am intrigued. The update on Anthony Edwards, by the way, no update. He's still a game time decision. Hopefully we get that. Again, that's 7:30, so I imagine we'll get news by 7 o'clock, but just kind of put that in your back pocket. No Trae Young, no Jalen Johnson. So it's DeJounte's world here for Atlanta. He's fully priced up, but his role is absurd. Memphis, not going to go through the whole litany of the guys that are out, but they did sign Wenyen Gabriel. We giving him any run? Is he available? I mean, I wouldn't think we're rostering him, but just want to acknowledge his existence. Don't know if he's available tonight. Currently not getting any minutes. And Nardog is doubtful, and also Gigi Jackson. He's questionable with his knee. Watanabe is still out as well with his wrist. But yeah, Kirkwood, Atlanta and Memphis. Atlanta's they have a tight rotation, man, and we're expecting Hunter to jump back in the starting lineup, which they've been babying him as far as his minutes coming along slowly. But they just kind of need him because they're without Johnson and they're without Young. They need some firepower. We're expecting Murray, Bogdanovich, Hunter, Bay, and Capella, and that bench is rough. Fernando, who's going to play some backup 5, Gary Bird, Forrest, Matthews, Krejci, Dylan Windler, who I don't know if he's going to play any minutes or not. Yeah. What do you got as far as Atlanta? They should be pushed to play a fair bit of minutes, those starters.
Yeah, I think DeJounte Murray is a great play tonight. So he's probably my number one. I also think Saddiq Bey is fine. He's going to play a bunch of minutes. Those are the only two. You could make a case for some Capella at 5,700. You could make a case for some DeAndre Hunter, but I'm not itching to get them in my lineups by any means. So really, it's just the Hawks. It's just Murray and Bey. But my other second feel it in the plums play, because you got to have two, because we have two plums.
So not everyone, but fair enough.
Correct. There's some. I knew a kid back when I was growing up who only had one. His name was Colin. Anyways, Triple J. Triple J is I did not give him the last name. Triple J is the field in the plums play of the day, number 2. So it's Naz Reid and Triple J. But I mean, this guy's as long as he keeps staying out of foul trouble, he's going to go off. This is perfect matchup for him. He's 37, 38 minutes in the last 2, and he was kind of in foul trouble all game against Philly and still played his 37 minutes. We're talking 30+% usage in all 4 of his last games, 41% usage at points. So we're talking there's a 30 to 40% usage. That's absolutely elite. He can stuff the stat sheet in every single which way. And the Hawks are as good of a matchup for that. They're 22nd in opponent blocks. They're 20th in opponent steals. So this is the Triple J stealing game unless he gets in foul trouble, and which probably will happen since I'm touting him. But
everybody's gonna like Bey, by the way. Bey is really hitting optimals hard. He's the most popular guy currently in my lineups. He gets 52% of the lineups I'm running on DK. He has landed in them. It's Bey. It's Poole, Mitchich, Bertans, Zion has jumped up. We had some salary opening up, and it's kind of going his way. Brandon Miller, and all right. So, basically,
shout out to Colin. One nut says when these balls.
Could you just leave Colin alone? Colin's just trying to watch the show.
Poor Colin.
Poor Colin. Yeah, I remember earlier in the show you were saying how I wasn't being nice. I just wanted to say that. We can kind of call back 20 minutes
Dean's
ago.
Getting pretty defensive here. I'm wondering about
Wait, does Dean only have one ball? Is that what this is? Have we figured out?
I'm just defending the innocent here.
Dean's a field in the plum guy, not a field in the plums guy.
Bobby, you got your thoughts as far as Atlanta and Memphis?
For me, I pretty much agree with everything that Kirkwood said. Jaren Jackson's my favorite play from this game. I like Saddiq Bey a good bit. DeJounte Murray at 9.2 is the one that I have questions on. If he's going to be chalky, I think I'm going to be under on DeJounte. I know the usage is going to be insane, but I like Bogdan, Hunter. Make a case for Bruno Fernando for value and larger field stuff. There's a guy on Memphis, Jake LaRavia has been absolutely smashing, 27% usage rate off the bench. I just haven't played him. And I've been telling myself, make sure you get in Jake LaRavia. So I'll be playing him a good bit tonight. I think he's in a good spot. Jaren Jackson being my favorite. Vince Williams at 6'9" would obviously be someone I'm considering as well. But I think LaRavia might be my feel it in the plums play at 4.9. I think he's very interesting in tournaments. There we go. Should I bring my kid in here?
Oh, there, all right.
You
got a couple in the door
and walked in. Whoa!
Is that a Celtics basketball in his hand? You're teaching him young to
he's got the full warm up. He's got the Celtics warm ups. He's got sweatpants and the.
Is he clutch? If I throw him out there in the last minute, is he going to make a shot?
He would probably hit it. I think he'd hit it.
I'm going to make sure he's clutch. I'm gonna. Once we're done.
Do you have the clutch? Did you pass down the clutch gene? Do you have the clutch gene?
I don't. I'm not clutching anything, to be honest with you.
Hopefully, it skips a generation. Yeah.
But I got my boy who runs basketball camps all over, so he's gonna be part of that.
Hey, Bobby, you're talking about,
and he's gonna be doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's an interesting.
He's gonna be beating up my kid.
What I would do if
Bobby's kid is a made man. You don't mess with Bobby's kid. You don't mess with him.
Nobody's asking for my advice, but if I were to teach my child a sport, long snapper, that is the greatest gig in the world. And like, how hard is it to long snap? You can't screw up.
Say like kicker or something.
No, a long snapper. You do like 7 things a game, and that's it. Like, and you get paid millions of dollars to snap a football. Muscle memory at some point. Learn how to long snap. There's like 30 guys that can do this in the world. There you go.
My brother, my brother's a great long snapper. He could have did it, but I feel like he's perfect. So he's actually 6'3". He's a big dude. So I don't know why he didn't take up long snapping.
Steve saying bullpen catcher. Well, bullpen catcher is a good gig, but it doesn't. You get paid better as a long snapper. Yeah, backup quarterback. If you're just good enough to stay in the league, but not good enough to actually get your brains beat in, that's a great gig. Get behind somebody that never gets hurt. It's a spectacular job.
Being a professional baseball player is the nuts.
It's a long season, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good gig as well. Yeah. All right. We have. But you were asking Bobby. You're talking about Murray if he's going to be popular or not.
I know he's going to be popular.
I don't think he. Well, what's popular? Because it's a 6-gamer, right? So popular is relative
for ownership.
What do you think popular is off the top of your head? 6-gamer. What's popular for a 6-gamer?
We have him for 15%. I thought he was going to be around I thought he was going to be more.
Yeah, I think 15 is a good number.
Be over the 15, I guess. I took an under stance on the survey earlier because I thought he was going to pop a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know. He's fine at 9.2. He's struggled shooting. If he was chalky, I'd be getting away. If he's only going to be 15%, I guess you can get over.
And if you hit refresh, we just got a new batch, like just now, as we speak, of ownership, and now he's 13% on DK. So Murray, I think people are not. He's not going to be the big spend, and
great play.
He could absolutely be the highest scorer on this slate, with no surprises. Like that absolutely.
Memphis 24th in opponent steals, 29th in opponent blocks. What are the games when he goes off when he's on the defensive end and also breaking out in transition? This is a good. He is what he is. He hasn't been the same guy that he was with the Spurs, but I mean, this is as good of a spot as you're going to get. Jordan Goodwin is back in our lives too. I don't know why he sat out the other night.
It's the two-way contract. He only has so many games he can play, and they got to pick and choose the games he can play. That's a technicality.
So I like him tonight at 5,200.
So I like Triple J. Here, I'll feel out my plums. Triple J paired with Murray. Spend up on those two guys. Save salary in Washington, Charlotte. Win a bunch of money. There you go.
Does no one else like LaRavia? He's
fine. Nah. He's been better of late. He's an interesting play, and they're pretty thin. And if I'm reading this right, do they only have 10? They only have 10 on Memphis, and that's if TJ Jackson plays. They only have 9. Are there G League guys that are available? I'm curious if there's a chance that there are any guys that are local. But when I'm seeing the lineups page, it's only 10 dudes if you count Gabriel, if you count TJ Jackson. So I want to be on alert of that as far as Memphis, because minutes can, again, Goodwin, all these guys can be in play. Aldima's fine. Goodwin's fine.
I've got 9 guys getting minutes.
Yeah, well, I think that's because Gabriel's not in the pool. So that's why he's not listed on lineup HQ. Right? Yeah. I don't think he's in the pool.
Yeah.
But he's probably going to get some run, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we should mention, whatever we don't get to, of course, crunch time we'll get to, but I do want to acknowledge my Miami Heat, the back half of a back-to-back, traveling in Oklahoma. OKC taking on the Heat. 224.5 is the total. OKC is an 8-point favorite. As far as who's in and who's out, we've had nothing goofy with Miami, right? Just nothing new. Hero's out. Love is out. Richardson, donezo for the season. OKC is fully healthy. Speaking of players that could be the best players on the slate when it comes to raw points, SGA, I think he's currently the highest projected player when it comes to raw points. But the matchup's not great. Salary is a thing. I'll throw this to you, Kirkwood. Miami, Oklahoma, your thoughts quickly, because I know crunch time is knocking on the door.
Shea, absolutely great play tonight, although I cannot stand his commercial. You see his Skims commercials on NBA League Pass that's just constantly playing.
I've seen it. I've also said quickly, and you're going on a segue talking about commercials, but yes, I've seen them, and
I figured you've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good that he deserves like a national commercials. He's awesome. I'm surprising he doesn't.
It's a little much though, isn't it, for a commercial? A little much.
It's fine. I'm
anyways, I think you can play some Terry Rozier tonight. You know, he's had the coach speak about getting more love.
Smashed yesterday.
I think you can play at 6,500 again. Let's go.
Yeah, it was a bad call by me. I was off him yesterday, and he really, really was awesome. I think he played 40 minutes too. What is the back half of a back-to-back? Yeah, he played 40 minutes. Took a ton of shots.
Spo told everybody too.
Yeah,
he thought it was just. Yeah.
You never really know with Spo though, and he's very much like the fluid of the game. Spo, right? He'll change his mind. He's coaching at all times. It's good for the Heat. It's tricky for DFS people because what you thought was going to happen could change 8 minutes into the game. Bobby, jump in here. Thunder, Heat. As far as ownership stuff, I don't think there's going to be any like quote unquote cash. Well, the Holmgren's coming at 20% against a 6-gamer, so the pie is getting sliced up differently. Jimmy Butler back half of a back-to-back, little hesitant on that, but I think he's fine. 16%, Bam, 14%. We know OKC, their one hiccup there is their ability to rebound the ball, so we certainly could see Bam getting like 15 or 16, a big boy number. Some other players coming up in the teens, but what do you got? Miami, Thunder, Bobby.
Yeah, so for me, Terry Rozier, I played him yesterday. I think I'm getting off the wagon today. I feel like that play is just it could be chasey. On the Thunder side, Chet, Shea, you can always play. I love Shea on the slate. Like, we're showing 8% ownership. Like, I'm easily going to get over that. I think he's one of my favorite plays on the slate, if not my favorite. Yeah, Caleb Martin from Miami has been getting more minutes off the bench. He's at 4-5. I think he's interesting value. Not getting to Jimmy. I like Bam for GPPs. I think he's interesting in larger field stuff, and that's pretty much this game for me.
We're going to bring the Crunch Time crew on in a second. I do want to mention once again, because it's Friday giveaway. The giveaway is determined on the Blender show. He spins a wheel, and it gives out all our potential options. All the potential options we're going to give out for free on a given day. Today, it's the fantasy pick'em tool for Prize Picks, for Underdog, for DraftKings. I'm dropping in the chat right now for the good people. As you open that up, also hit that like button too. We'd appreciate that. But it helps, very, very quickly, very, very easy, dummy proof in terms of figuring out what the best percentage-wise plays are over under on Prize Picks, on DraftKings, on the DK Pick 6, which I've yet to dabble in because I'm not in the right state for it. But I believe Crunch Time is good to go. So we should give a little bit of a countdown. And in 3, 2, 1, here comes Crunch Time. It is TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatchewan, Canada, as well as Taylor Smith. We got Will as well. Our poll results, by the way, I should mention the poll results, TJ. I don't know if anybody has any hot takes. Anybody cares about Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson, but they're split. The people are split. Are you watching it? 47% yes. 40, that just changed. 53% no. Close enough. It's free, so I'll watch it, but I wouldn't pay for it. Do you have a take on this, TJ? You care for the circus?
No, I'm not going to be watching that. As someone who grew up in the Vine era, Jake Paul is one of the most annoying human beings on the planet. So no, I'm out on that.
What's your favorite Vine? You have a favorite Vine you remember? Your favorite 6 seconds on Vine?
There's so many that come to mind. One of the great ones I always found is like who's that Pokemon? And the guy's like, it's Pikachu. And then he finds out he's wrong and he drops a massive F-bomb right at the end of it. And it was really funny, but there's so many great ones. Vine was gone too soon. Pour one out for Vine. Speaking of gone too soon, I would be remiss, shout out to my guy Steve in the background as well, if I didn't throw out an RIP for Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, passed away. You gonna say anything else, Dean? You're just
I thought I heard
you're gonna segue to
I
something
could
else.
I could hear somebody hitting a microphone. I thought that was Steve jumping in. I thought he was going to add something to the conversation. But, yeah,
it's gonna leave me hanging. Or were we having a moment of silence there?
Well, did you not hear a microphone getting tapped? Was that Will hitting a microphone or Taylor?
I think that was me. Yeah, I didn't mean to say anything.
That's what was happening.
I was totally laying out on TJ and just seeing how long the silence would last.
I thought you were going to say something profound. I thought somebody was going to step in because I have nothing. It's terrible. I'm not aware of his work. I'm sure it's spectacular. But all right, on the seamless segue.
I figured Dean was a big Dragon Ball Z guy.
You figure I'm a big everything guy. it's just always in on that. But
Dean, I have a question.
Yeah.
With the new SGA commercial for Skims, are you going to buy Skims?
I'm currently on Team Tommy John, but if they give me like a discount code, yes, I'll give it a shot. Sure, why not? But right now, the power rankings, we should actually ask Taylor because Taylor is like the one that's he's the fashion connoisseur. He one-ups us on the every.
What are Skims?
Oh, well, I forgot to bring out my kimono. I'm going to do that next show.
Okay. Didn't make sure to write that down. We should go. Crunch time is starting momentarily. Myself, Kirkwood, Bobby, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do hit that like button. Do stick around all the way at the lock because Will, TJ, Taylor, they got you covered. TJ, take it away.
Fellas, hold it down. I didn't say anything to the fellas before they left, so this is what it's all about.
We got NBA crunch time, a fun 6-game slate. Will and I have been breaking this one down together for the last 12 hours now. We are ready. We got Taylor Smith joining us as well. How you doing, Taylor?
Doing well. Seems a little sleepy, like we're not really waiting on much except for Anthony Edwards. So pretty straightforward, I hope. Looks pretty good.
Anthony Edwards is obviously the big one. We are waiting on he's a game time decision, so there's a very good chance we don't get that one before lock. We can hope, but there's a good chance we don't. Chief, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Listen, I'm doing fantastic. I've read through my script. My 150 are in. I'm sitting here waiting on Anthony Edwards news. I kept Anthony Edwards in my script, so I'm expecting to play. So he's in there. If he's out, I'll make some clicks, make some minor adjustments. I've got my 2 spreadsheets set up to go in, edit, drop my CSV in there, and go on with my night. One of the things I like about tonight's slate, and hopefully you guys do, maybe you guys like it as well, TJ and Taylor, is because the slate's so small, it almost feels like no late swap to me. It's going to end at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock kicks off, and we're done. So this is amazing, little 6-gamer to go through Friday, and I'm just going to go on with my day and maybe check at 10 o'clock and see how my lineups are doing. I do know this. If I think TJ and I talked about this probably last night, if for some reason we can get about 4 or 5 overtimes in this Charlotte-Washington game, we're all going to be probably sitting there about to take down some tournaments. But we'll see. We'll see.
I am ready to dive in with you, my friend. And if you're building lots of lineups or if you're just building one, you can use SimLabs as the expert DFS lineup generation tool from RotoGrinders and FanDuel C-Labs. You can use it for NBA. With just a few clicks, you can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest you're playing, running out of time before lock. Quickly build a set of lineups to fill out all your entries. Want to see who might be falling under the radar? Use the tool to examine which players the field may be sleeping on. All Combo and NBA subscribers currently have access. And if you want access to SimLabs, if you want access to more, you want that combo or premium access, you can now get it with a 3-day pass, get access to every sport except NASCAR at the low price of $19.99. There's never been a better time to join the RotoGrinders community, so find the link in our description for more info right down there. And speaking of link in the descriptions, right down there, check out the brand new props and pick'em package. The expert at RotoGrinders projections team take our premium stats, comb through the market for any inefficiencies. Using our model, you can easily see which lines are off, where to find them, and how likely the prop will hit based on our tool. You can also now try the props and pick'em package as a 3-day pass as well. It'll auto-renew after the 3 days. Use the link in our description for more. Taylor, what do you say you give us a little overview on the 6-game slate? Because although it's 6, it feels even smaller. Chief brought up the no late swap thing, and I did find that hilarious that when DraftKings did that no late swap thing last Friday, they just cut off the late games anyways, so there basically wasn't. It was only an hour between games on that night too. But I think it did the trick for what they were wanting to do. Taylor, why don't you give us a little rundown?
Yeah, so Anthony Edwards, the one we're waiting on. We just got Gigi Jackson is looking doubtful. So that's one more Memphis guy. Not likely to play.
Taylor, you don't know how happy that makes me. You don't know how happy that makes me. Oh,
Jaren Jackson season, or what are you thinking?
Jake LaRavia
season.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What could go wrong with Jake LaRavia season? Let's see. Wenyen Gabriel available. So that's one more body they do have, I guess. He is now a Grizzly. I doubt he plays much, though. Team debut and all. Let's see. Jalen Johnson is out. Trey Mann is out. Jalen Suggs is out. Like we said, Nick Batum out. Mo Bamba expected to start again for some reason. So that's kind of what we're looking at tonight.
All right. Why don't you help us out with what we are doing today in cash games? We got Teddy on Twitter asking if this is Casey Affleck on the show with us. It is Taylor Smith. It's not Casey Affleck. But which comparison do you prefer, Casey Affleck or TJ McConnell?
I completely forgot Casey Affleck existed, so I'll go TJ McConnell. I feel like he's more relevant to my life than Casey Affleck, I think.
That's fair. Ocean's 11, great movie, though. Why don't you give us a breakdown of what we're doing in cash, starting position by position?
Yeah, so I said Trey Mann is out. Charlotte without a ton of guards at this point, so it's once again Micic season. He's 5'4". He's going to be in every lineup you run on FanDuel right now. Very easy cash play, easily a core play. Kyle Lowry's another one that looks pretty good. He's 5'1". His minutes have been up lately. Philly is also without Maxey and Bede and a few others, Melton. So pretty safe minutes for him. Not the most comfortable play, but the role is fine enough to where I think you can do that in cash. Jordan Poole and DeJounte Murray have both had bigger roles lately. Jordan Poole, big usage for Washington. He's actually making shots, which has changed from the first 3 or 4 months of the season. Very easy way to get exposure to that first Hornets Wizards game tonight. Murray without Trae Young, without Jalen Johnson is going to have a ton of usage. He's 8-9. Going to be really popular. I think you definitely want him in cash on FanDuel. That's really it for point guard. Those 4 are probably taking up your 4 guard spots. Another one to consider is Karis LeVert, but I think he might be better suited at small forward potentially. With Donovan Mitchell out, Evan Mobley out, there's a lot of usage to go around. Max Strus as well. So minutes should be good for LeVert. Not the best game environment, Cleveland tonight, but solid role. Decent price tag on him too. Kelly Oubre should see plenty of usage for Philly once again. 6'8" on FanDuel. His price has come up, but the role's there for him lately with those 2 stars out for the Sixers. Bryce McGowan's is a guy we're projecting to start for Charlotte. Really bad per minute guy. In the last game, he played 18 minutes and took 0 shots from the field. So that's kind of what you're looking at with him. We do have him at 25 minutes, though, and he's cheap. So I do think it's viable in cash. Just not a very comfortable play. A few others to consider. Vince Williams, big role for Memphis. He and Jaren Jackson are kind of the last 2 real NBA players in the rotation for them. So Vince Williams is a fine play. Small forwards to consider: Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. 2 very good plays in that first game for Charlotte. Tons of usage for both. Bridges in particular is capable of playing 40 minutes, and he likely will if the game is competitive. Don't mind that at 8-4. Denny Avdia, another wizard to consider, along with Kuzma. I think Kuzma might be power forward on FanDuel, but yeah, he is. So Avdia, kind of a cheaper play. The Hawks, without Jalen Johnson, are going to have a lot of minutes to go around up front. Sadiq Bey and DeAndre Hunter are likely to garner most of them. Both certainly cash viable. Hunter looks like more of a secondary play on FanDuel. Bey is the one we're getting to more in optimals right now. Both forward spots eligible. I mentioned Kuzma. Zion Williamson for 8-2. A little underpriced. Philly's defense has been really bad since they lost Embiid, as you may expect. They do play slowly, but Zion may be a little underpriced here. Don't mind that as a spend. Bruno Fernando, power forward center eligible. The minutes have been up for him lately. He's not going to play in all likelihood alongside Capella with Jalen Johnson out, but the minutes are fine enough, and the power forward eligibility is handy for him. He's also only 4'2" and pretty good per minute, so I'm fine with him. And Capella looks okay for 5'8". That's a little cheap on him, even though the minutes are a little suspect. Maybe he gets a few more tonight with Johnson out, so I'm fine with that. And Chet Holmgren, another center-only play if you have a little more money to spend. But I think they'll probably do it for FanDuel cash.
All right, Chief, take us through what we are doing in our tournament builds today. We'll go through FanDuel tournaments. We'll go through DraftKings cash and tournaments. Then, of course, we'll take QQs first up from the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat, so get your question in there. Then from YouTube, smash the like button if you're watching us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching. Give us a like here. It does help us keep the lights on. Chief, what are we doing in tournaments?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of gonna go overall today, because I do think FanDuel isn't as good as DK for tournaments today for what it's in terms of putting together lineups. So I'll just kind of put that out there. And that's kind of been the case for a few weeks here. But I definitely think your main target for tournaments is the Charlotte-Washington game. And I know the whole field is on that. And when you look at the totals tonight, all of the totals are pretty close. But the difference is where the productions should be coming from Charlotte. Where most of the production should be coming from with Washington. And so I really think there's an advantage there. And some of the pricing here, like, you've got Denny at 6,600. You've got Tyus Jones at 68. And Tyus isn't going to be as popular as some of the other guys. You've got Jordan Poole at 69. You've got Mitch at 54, who's going to be really popular on FanDuel, pushing almost 60% there. Miller at 7K, Bridges, like those are guys. I would even be including Nick Richards, Grant Williams, Davis Berton. Those are guys I'd be including in those game stacks. TJ and I talked about this last night in terms of the Pelicans guys facing Philly. I just have McCollum, Ingram, and Zion all in a group 0-1. And one of those guys could go off, and I just want to make sure I have exposure to them. On the Philly side, I'm okay with Kyle Lowry. I'm not playing Mo Bamba. I'm not playing, hardly anybody else. I'm just kind of off that game. One game that I do have that I didn't have as much interest in earlier, but I do now is this Magic Knicks game. I know we're all off of it per se, but I do think we should have some Paolo, some Franz, some Cole Anthony, some Markelle Fultz. I'm not saying we need to be loading up, but I do think with Suggs out, once again, total's 207. It's going to be a tough game, but I think one of Franz or Paolo could get there, and one of Anthony, Fultz, Wendell Carter, one of those guys could get there. So I'm on board with playing a few Magic here. I'm off the train with the Knicks completely, especially with Brunson back. I think everybody's priced up, so I'm just going to fade them. I don't think I have a single Knick in my player pool tonight for what it's worth. With the Timberwolves, I am proceeding as if Anthony Edwards is going to play. He is in my pool. And then with the Cleveland Cavaliers, I do have a little bit of Darius Garland, a little bit of Karis LeVert. I'm going full fade on Jared Allen. I'll let him beat me. If he beats me tonight, then hey, no big deal. In terms of the Hawks Grizzlies, this is probably my second favorite game on the slate. If you check my builds right now, you'll see I have plenty of Hawks exposure, plenty of Grizzlies exposure. This is another game. Although the Grizzlies play so slower than the Hawks, I think it's going to be an up and down affair. DeJounte, slightly better priced on FanDuel. That's reflected in the ownership. Definitely think you need to have some of him. I'm even playing a little bit more Bogdanovich tonight than I thought I would have. This could be a spot where I have tons of Sadiq Bey, but Bogdan could absolutely get there tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me. So I bumped up my ownership on him, bumped up my ownership on Hunter, bumped up my ownership on Capella, bumped up my ownership on Bruno Fernando, and he's already getting really good ownership on FanDuel. But those group of guys, I had them. And then I guess I'll just have to say I'm not really playing Jordan Goodwin on FanDuel. I think he's too expensive. I have tons of it on DraftKings. I know we're not talking about that. But I am playing Contra. I'm playing Vince Williams. playing Jared Jackson, playing Jake LaRavia, and I'm going to have to make an adjustment. I'm going to get some Lamar Stevens in. I realize I didn't have any. I'm going to get some of him in. But those are guys that I'm playing. And then the Heat-Thunder matchup.
Chief, that's what I did while you guys were talking. While you guys were talking, I got my Lamar Stevens exposure.
Yeah, you got to at least have him in some because, I mean, they're now way more shorthanded than I thought they may have been. And then the Heat-Thunder, I'm playing Jimmy Butler, and I'm playing SGA on FanDuel and Jalen Williams. Like those three guys, I think those are fantastic plays. And we're gonna let the chips fall.
Ooh, we got Rashawn Holmes starting for Washington over Kispert, and we have Grant Williams starting over Bryce McGowan's.
Well, listen, on DraftKings, I might get gosh, man. So TJ, I'm sorry, Taylor. Let's talk through this if we can, because we talked about this last night. The fact that Kuzma very well could start at the 4, and Holmes could start at the 5 because of the Nick Richards effect. And that's what I think we're seeing here. Rashawn Holmes may, in fact, be a much better play than we anticipated earlier today. Taylor, how are you feeling about that for cash? Because in tournaments, I'm telling you right, I already had 25%, which was over the field. And I'm probably going to have to bump that up a little bit more just in case. What are your thoughts on him for cash? And then I know we got to go to DraftKings.
Yeah, he's definitely in play. On FanDuel, he's 4-7 center only, but we had him at 22 minutes. That should come up, I would think, when we update. Center wasn't looking amazing anyway on FanDuel, like Capella and Bruno Fernando are the ones that I was looking at. I think Rashawn Holmes looks better than Fernando now, especially since you can play Fernando at power forward anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play McGowan, so I'm really relieved that he's not starting.
You and me, listen, if you'd asked me about that, I would have said Taylor, as a hometown fan, just hit the X button. You won't be disappointed.
Right. He is not a guy that does anything when he's out there.
We also got Oubre stepping into the starting lineup for Nick Batum.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, you're catching Chief. I'm live making adjustments right now. I'm bumping up my Holmes exposure because I think this could be an interesting spot here.
Wound up with that adjustment to the starting lineup, I ended up with 70% Holmes and 15% Kispert.
Yeah, Kispert.
I made a rule I want one of Kispert, Koulibaly, and Holmes in every lineup.
Yeah.
And so that wound up with 70% Holmes and 15% each of Kispert and Koulibaly.
Man,
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm adjusting right now. Hopefully not to my detriment.
Man, Holmes is 3-7 on DK. That's going to be,
and that's where I'm making the big
adjustments.
Yeah,
let's make this pivot to DraftKings right now, and let's make the pivot to DraftKings right now. Obviously, he's looking like a cash play, Taylor. I don't feel like 70% Rashawn Holmes is egregious here. I feel like that's a pretty good number for tournaments.
Yeah, I remember the time like a month ago when he was on the Mavs that everyone thought he was going to start. I think it was a Saturday, and he wound up coming off the bench, and I think he might have played 1 minute in the second quarter and just busted everybody. So that was a fun time. But now that we know he's starting, he's definitely a cash-in tournament play. I don't know if we're updated yet now that I'm looking at this. Unless the update was to 22 minutes, but even in 22 minutes, he looks awesome.
Yeah, no, it hasn't updated yet because it was 22 before off the bench.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's see. Yeah, position by position. A lot of the same names as you may expect on a short slate. Micic, obviously 5'3" on DK, looks outstanding. He's popping into every lineup. I would imagine that will still happen once they update for the Holmes thing. Jordan Poole and Jordan Goodwin, a couple of more Jordan guards you can play on DK. Poole is the priority at 6K flat. Like I said, a lot of usage lately off the bench. I think he's playing off the bench. Yeah. Matchup against Charlotte's not really as good as it was because the Hornets aren't playing as fast as they were with LaMelo in there, but still not a good defensive team, and he's underpriced. DeJounte Murray looks like a better play on FanDuel because you can play him at shooting guard. I think it's really just Micic and Poole among the point guards that you're considering for cash. Shooting guard does have some good stuff. Karis LeVert, I mentioned on FanDuel. Shooting guard, small forward on DK. Ditto for Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller at 7K. Noto has him tagged as a core play here tonight against the Wiz. Washington has a 16-game losing streak going, but they are favored tonight over the Hornets. So that game should be potentially really ugly, but potentially close and high scoring. So understandable to get a lot of exposure to that one. Oubre, now that he's starting, minutes have been there anyway, with the Sixers down a couple of all-stars. So he looks great, definitely viable in cash. Like I said, I'm relieved that McGowan's is not really a cash play anymore. He is 3-1, but McGowan's off the bench is not a guy you should be considering anymore since we don't need it. Shifting forward, I mentioned Miller and LeVert. Sadiq Bey, 5'7" on DK, could play 40 minutes just because Atlanta is short on forwards without Jalen Johnson. Let's see, Miles Bridges, Kyle Kuzma both look terrific. Kuzma under 8K just looks underpriced for the role he's going to play. He's not starting at center, so that might ding him a little bit with Holmes in there, but still going to get a lot of usage, still going to do a lot of damage. Happy to play him tonight. Bridges, Zion, Jaren Jackson looks really good. He's been filling it up since they lost, Bane and Morant and Marcus Smart and all that. So huge usage for him. It's kind of tough between Zion, Jackson, and Kuzma. Do either of you guys have a lean between those three as the top play among those power forwards?
It's Zion way behind the other two for me. Zion falls well behind JJJ and Kuzma for me.
Kuzma for me.
Yeah, it's probably the safest play just to get more exposure to that first game. I guess you can throw Miles Bridges in that combo too. And at center,
I have Bridges as like my 1A and 1B with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah. Let's see. Rashawn Holmes now definitely playing him in cash at center at 3.7 on DK. Other ones to consider, Chet. The projections really like him tonight at 7.4, even though the matchup against Miami is not that good on paper. He's just a little underpriced. Jaren Jackson you can play here and not sad about that. Kuzma, center eligible. Clint Capella, I mentioned on FanDuel. I don't think Capella's a must. I think the floor is pretty low there. So I'm fine steering clear of him. And Fernando is center only on DK. And now that we have Rashawn Holmes, I don't think we really need to double dip with cheap Fernando over here.
Couldn't agree more. Chief, what are we doing today in tournaments? I'm looking at my stuff now. I had about 25% Fernando earlier, and now I have 6%.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at what I have on Fernando. I've got 15%. I think I'm gonna keep my 15% Fernando exposure. I don't think I'm gonna back off of that too much. But
big reason why is I have 45% Grant Williams now.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough Grant Williams. I don't have enough. So I'm going to be adjusting that as we're talking, folks. So just bear with me here. But I will say on DraftKings, I do feel like there's a little bit more flexibility with some of these guys just because of the overall pricing. Like being able to get Holmes in the 3K range is good. There are a couple other guys too. So like at point guard on DraftKings, I've got way more DeJounte Murray than the field on DraftKings. I've got some CJ McCollum, some Darius Garland. I've got some Tyus Jones. I'm also, you can play Bogdanovich at point guard or shooting guard. I've got him. I've got a fair amount of SGA, playing Jordan Goodwin, which is part of that Memphis staff, playing some Josh Giddey, playing a little bit of Fultz and Cole Anthony as well. Like I said, I just think, those guys needed to be included. At the shooting guard position there, a lot of the same names. I do have Brandon Ingram included. I think a sneaky guy that I have that a lot of people may not have is Trey Murphy III. I do have, I think, about 10 to 15% Murphy, somewhere up in there. He's been playing really well, and this is a game where, if it gets out of hand, I think he could play pretty well. So I do have, I'm well over on Trey Murphy compared to the field. I've got about 40% Sadiq Bey at the small forward position. Played a fair amount of DeAndre Hunter as well. I have a feeling that Hunter could absolutely smash here tonight. have a good night. I have Jimmy Butler. I'm including him. I was a little iffy on Butler. I know they had a long game last night, but Butler 8,200 has really shown some upside here over the past few games outside of last night. So I am including him. Have a little bit of Okoro just because he's cheap. And I might actually – I'm considering getting rid of Okoro, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to get rid of Okoro now that we've got these other guys that I feel much better about. And once again, the Memphis guys, Laravia, Concher, Stevens, Goodwin, those cheaper guys, I do like them in this spot against Atlanta. I know the total isn't there, but Atlanta's been giving it up to everyone, so I don't want to miss out on that type of action. I'm going to be bumping up my Grant Williams exposure here now just a touch because he's getting a start, and hopefully the minutes are there. I do have about 5% Paolo Banchero, about 10% Franz Wagner. I do have, I think, about 15% Jalen Williams from OKC. He's another guy that's been playing well that I think could go overlooked tonight on tonight's slate. And then at center, once again, I am going to keep my Bruno Fernando exposure. I had him around 15%. I am still playing Nick Richards. I'm playing a fair amount of Rudy Gobert. That's a stance that I'm taking as well at 7,700. We've seen Gobert have some really nice games, and I think the field could, I don't think the field is playing enough of him considering that Karl Anthony Towns is out, and he's been playing well already. So I really like him. And I do have some Chet Holmgren as well at center.
I like it. Taylor, and now that we've had some projections updated and such, is there anything else you kind of want to hammer home for cash games before we get some QQs? We got over 1,000 people watching, but not a lot of questions. Get them in the YouTube chat. Get them in on the RotoGrinders Discord page. Taylor, anything else you kind of feel like you want to hammer home for cash games today?
They did an update, but didn't move Holmes's minutes from 22. So still confident with him though, just because he's so cheap. Still definitely played home cash. Didn't mention Bertans as a cheapie. I don't really want to play him, but if you land there, I think it's viable.
All right, let's start getting to some questions. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. Smash the like button wherever you are watching. Large field DK GPP Chief, Denny Avdia and Kelly Oubre Jr., or Rashawn Holmes and DeJounte Murray?
Rashawn DeJounte.
And apparently, Showboat King is saying in chat, we just had an update and Holmes's minutes got moved to 25, which is actually what he played last game coming off the bench. So I do think that there's upside for more.
Yeah, definitely a very easy play for cash.
Did we get an ownership update on that by chance?
Let me look here. I'll do a quick little refresh. See what we got. Ownership last updated at 637. So no, I don't believe we have or 737. Yeah, 637. So I don't believe we've had the ownership refresh yet. Next question, we got DK GPP, last piece Chief, Cole Anthony or John Conchar?
Oh, that's splitting hairs to me. Conchar's going to play more minutes. I think Cole Anthony has more upside. Conchar's in the better spot. I still think Cole Anthony's better. Give me Cole Anthony.
What are your thoughts on Rashawn Holmes on FanDuel, Taylor, where he's 4,700?
Yeah, definitely in play for cash. Like I said, Capella's not. I don't have a lot of conviction about Capella for 5.8, so I'm happy to take the savings with Holmes for 4.7.
DK GPP Chief, Levert or Oubre?
Give me Levert.
SG Catch. Oh, this is Yahoo at the shooting guard position. Jordan Poole or Karis LeVert, Taylor?
I think it's Poole slightly.
All right, going to YouTube for some questions here. What are your thoughts on Josh Giddey in a DK GPP, Chief?
Yep, don't hate it. I think I've got about 15% Giddey today.
Taylor, Mr. Richard is playing two lineups on DraftKings. He's playing Miller and Poole in both. Who should be the third player to use in his core?
Kuz, Rashawn Holmes, someone like that.
Kuz over Holmes. I like that one today. Trey Murphy or Herb Jones on FanDuel, Chief?
Murphy.
I got to apologize to Jay Sams because for the second day in a row, I've totally missed his questions, and it did make me realize there was 3 above here on Discord that I haven't missed, that I didn't see yet because they were above the little new line. But apologies to Jay Sams because it's the second day in a row I've done that to you. Chief, I heard you say Goodwin is a little too expensive on FanDuel for tournaments, but wouldn't this make him a good play with his ability to get stocks?
Yeah, I mean, he could be. Look, I'm basically foregoing playing him on FanDuel to get him on DraftKings where it's 5,400. That's basically the stance I'm taking. So if you want to play him, like, be my guest. I like the matchup against the Hawks. I just think he's better priced on DraftKings, so that's the stance that I'm taking.
FanDuel Cash Taylor, Fernando and Kuzma, or Denny and Bay?
I think Fernando and Kuzma slightly.
FanDuel GPP, 7,800 left at shooting guard. OKC Williams a good option, or do you like somebody better, Chief?
I like Jalen Williams. I'm fine with it.
Do you like Holmes more than Reith? Duop Reith on the Yahoo, Taylor. I can give you a minute if you need to check over, flip over to Yahoo.
Yeah, I think I will. Let me look.
So Michael wants to know, Chief, do you think there's a risk that Holmes goes away once this game goes small? So that's why personally I'm setting a rule today. I want exactly one of Holmes and Kispert in every single lineup I play.
I'm not as afraid of it. I think we should have been more afraid if he wasn't starting. I think starting might actually cement him playing normal minutes with Nick Richards. Like I think that's why they made the move. They could have easily just have started Kuzma like they have been. I think bringing Holmes into this, I think they're committing to trying to play a style with the big man.
Taylor?
I think I prefer Reith over Holmes on Yahoo.
Oh, on Yahoo. My bad.
Giddy, yeah, no, you're good. I asked you a separate question, so Taylor has to look at that projection. Giddy or Goodwin on a DK GPP, Chief?
Give me Goodwin on DK.
Who do you like better, Taylor? Hield or Oubre? Straight up.
Oubre.
I feel I'm assuming this is a tournament. I feel very confidently this answer should be a neither on FanDuel, especially if these guys are at all the same price. But will Jose Alvarado or Kyle Lowry in FanDuel?
I guess it would be Kyle Lowry because he's going to play the minutes. I wouldn't be playing Alvarado over Lowry in FanDuel at all.
Yeah. DK Cash, last spot, Taylor. Oubre or Levert?
I think you should probably play them both. That's really tough. I guess I'll side with Oubre, but both look really good.
You're making me worried, Taylor, that in tournaments today I have, let me see, 1% Karis LeVert and how much Kelly Oubre, and 0% Kelly Oubre. I'm attacking two very specific games today. What do you think about
LeVert? I've got enough LeVert. I have no Oubre. I took full fade on Oubre for what it's worth.
Josh Giddey or Jordan Poole, Will?
Which site?
Doesn't say.
If it's DraftKings, I'm for sure going Poole. If it's FanDuel, Poole 6,900. How much is Giddey?
I'm assuming the same. If he's just straight up.
Poole then. I'll take Poole. Yeah.
What do you think about Bam today, Taylor?
I don't think anyone's going to play him, so I think he's really good in tournaments.
Santa Claus wants to know, is Anthony Edwards playing? He is still questionable. He's a game time decision. You are supposed to be the one that's omnipotent Santa Claus. You're supposed to be the one who sees everyone. So I feel like you probably have a better read on the Anthony Edwards situation than we do here. 6 minutes to lock. Get your lineups in. Smash that like button. Chief, you're the Hornets guy. You playing any Nick Smith on 3K on DraftKings?
Nope, not a drop.
I know you love this game as well, so I will stick it with you. Who are your favorite plays from the Washington and Charlotte game? Give us kind of your top three in order.
Kuzma, Mičić, Poole.
I got 80% Mičić, 73% Holmes, 55% Poole, 47% Miller, 42% Bridges, 41% Kuzma, 36% Williams as my highest owned plays on the slate, with Jaren Jackson mixed in there as well.
Yeah, you're crushing me. If this game goes off, you might get me. I don't have anybody past 50% today for what it's worth.
I have Mitchich, Holmes, and Poole as my 3 players over 50% today. James Badger wants to know the best play at each position. Well, that's what we've been breaking down for the last 40 minutes. But Taylor, why don't you kind of give your top, just re-go over maybe like the main core plays for you today?
Yeah, so Mitchich for sure at point guard. He and Jordan Poole both up there definitely for cash. Sadiq Bey, Brandon Miller, Karis LeVert, Kelly Oubre, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Bridges. There are a lot of good plays on the slate. At center, Holmes, Holmgren, Jaren Jackson. There's kind of a lot to like. I hope that rundown was sufficient.
FanDuel cash, Taylor, Zion or Bridges?
Bridges.
DK GPP, Chief, Goodwin or Mitchich?
Mitchich.
FanDuel cash, Anthony Edwards, and assuming he plays, Anthony Edwards and Cole Anthony, or SGA and Bryce McGowan's?
Yeah, the one without Bryce McGowan's, no doubt.
TJ, have you played Demon Souls? No, I have not. Rozier or Bogdan Bogdanovic in a DK GPP, Chief?
Bogdanovic for me.
Josh Giddey or Jordan Poole on FanDuel? We said Poole to that one. What do you think about Tyus Jones over Poole in a FanDuel GPP, Taylor?
I like it.
DK GPP, Chief, Hunter or Jake LaRivia?
Hunter.
Oh, I love me some LaRivia in that spot.
I've got both, but I've got way more Hunter. Way more.
Andrew Martinez says, so Poole over Tyus Jones? Well, Poole we like for projection better. He has higher upside. He's got a higher median projection. Tyus Jones will probably be a quarter of the ownership today. So if the rest of your team is fairly chalky, maybe you do the Tyus pivot. And then the same person as Bam or JJJ. It's sorry, chat's making me laugh. I said omnipotent, not impotent, Brandon Cox. And then Bam and JJJ, it's the exact same thing. JJJ, higher median projection, higher ceiling, but also a lot more ownership coming with it, probably 4 times more owned than Bam Adebayo is today. DK cash plays, I'm late, but I hit the like button. We'll run over them one more time. We got Mitchich as a must. Poole is a must. Brandon Miller, Rashawn Holmes. Any other guys I missed there, Taylor?
No.
Fultz or Nance in a DK GPP, Chief?
I'm probably going Fultz in this position.
Lamar Stevens or Davis Bertans in a DK GPP, Chief?
Let's go Bertans, but I do like Stevens.
Is Kyle Murray a priority on FanDuel at 5.1K, Taylor?
Who?
Kyle Lowry.
Oh, not a priority. He's fine.
FanDuel, would you prioritize spending up for Bridges or Brandon Miller at 8.4K, Taylor?
I think Bridges gets the nod for me.
FanDuel GPP. Oh, this is specifically for Taylor. Do you like Bogdanovic over Poole as the pivot, and can you play him and DeJounte Murray together?
Yeah, I think you can just because they're thin, and I do like that as a pivot.
Chief, who are you most afraid of being underweight on tonight?
I don't think I'm afraid of being underweight on anybody. I think if anybody would maybe be SGA, but I've got more than the field of SGA. So, no one. Oh, I take that back. I don't have any Oubre. I don't have any Jalen Brunson. Like I have 0 Knicks. So if this game somehow shoots out, I'm in trouble.
FanDuel cash, Taylor. What do you think of Davis Bertans?
He's fine. Not in love with it, but he's okay.
I just got a text from our good friend, the Luch, Justin Carlucci. He says he's got 75% Mitchich and 75% Holmes tonight. I told him that's weak because I got 80% and 75% of those 2 guys today. 1 minute away from lock. Make sure you're getting your lineups in. Get your last minute QQs in if you have them. But as of now, we have answered all the questions. Make sure you get these likes up here. And Luch corrected himself. He said, all right, well, he actually lied. He's got 78% Holmes and 77% Mitchich. So he's feeling as heavy on that one as I am today. J3 says, shout out to Roth. I was going to say last day of his vacay, but technically I'm still on for the weekend too. So he's still got up until Monday. But we have hit all the questions. We have hit lock. Smash that like button on your way out. We got to wait for Anthony Edwards still. Make sure you are paying attention. He's in. Right in 1 minute after lock, Anthony Edwards is in.
Yes.
Feeling
Taylor,
good about
I knew this,
that one.
We already knew this. He never sits. He's never out.
He left the game twice last night, came back, and still had the slate-breaking performance.
Yeah.
So.
44 real points and the game-winning block. Edwards is the type of guy that seems like if he's going to be out, they're going to rule him out well in advance.
I'm
happy about that one.
disappointed in myself though. I let my friends get well above me in this Washington Charlotte situation. Taylor, I don't know if you know this. I usually hit the lock button. Like I usually hit the lock button on a guy like Mitchich. I usually hit the lock button on a guy like Holmes, and I just keep building around those 2 or 3 guys. Sometimes I have 4 lock buttons, but I don't know. It's just one of those slates where I said if I just get over the field, I think that might be enough. I just like so many other plays. So we'll see. Once again, TJ Luch, if you guys got 70% and these guys smash, you're going to be well ahead of me at least to start this thing. So good luck to everybody. Taylor, I know Taylor's playing tournaments as well, and he's got way more Oubre than I have. So
I just realized I did not get Rashawn Holmes, so I'll probably die an early death.
Oh!
Or you'll be way ahead of the field.
Or that. Probably not that.
Yeah.
One last question here from our guy Daryl George, all the way from South Carolina. Chief,
Daryl
DeJounte Murray or Anthony Davis in a Yahoo GPP?
Man, it got to be AD. No LeBron.
Yeah.
Daryl, let's go AD for sure.
Couldn't agree more. That'll do it for this episode of Crunch Time. We will be back tomorrow for more NBA Crunch Time as well as an MMA Crunch Time show coming tomorrow. We got a big UFC slate. I haven't checked if any of the fights have disappeared. I don't really know why they do it. I still don't get it. But as far as I know, big 14 fights. We got, and then we got NBA Crunch Time after that as well. We'll have Mike and Squirrel on for MMA, and then we will have this exact crew on for Crunch Time again tomorrow.
How about it?
And Sunday. So you got 3 days in a row. TJ, Will, and Taylor. We got the squad coming to you. Good luck tonight, everyone. Smash the like button on your way out. On behalf of myself, Chief, Taylor, Steve behind the scenes. Good luck. Peace out.